He had one of those voices you never forget, warm, haunting, and timeless. When you hear the words, "Who's gonna drive you home tonight?" it still stops you in your tracks. That voice belonged to Benjamin Orr, the man behind the bass, behind the mic, and behind some of the most unforgettable songs of the 1970s and 80s. But few knew the quiet pain that followed his success, or the way his story would end far too soon. Tonight, we remember the man whose music defined a generation, and whose final drive came much too early. Benjamin Orr was born Benjamin Orzechowski on September 8, 1947, in Lakewood, Ohio. The son of Polish and Czech parents, Ben was drawn to music from the very start. As a child, he learned to play the guitar, drums, and bass, anything he could get his hands on. His early years were filled with dreams of rock and roll, and while others were chasing stability, young Ben chased sound. In the mid-1960s, he formed his first local bands and began gaining attention around Cleveland for his striking looks, calm stage presence, and remarkable voice. His big break came when he met Ric Ocasek, a kindred spirit with an ear for the unconventional. Together, they would form one of the most iconic partnerships in rock history. What began as two musicians sharing creative energy would soon lead to something that would change American music forever. In 1976, Benjamin Orr and Ric Ocasek co-founded the Cars. With their slick blend of rock, pop, and new wave, the band didn't just find success, they defined an era. Their debut album, released in 1978, exploded onto the charts with songs like Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, and Moving in Stereo. Each track captured the pulse of late 70s America, cool, confident, and a little detached. But behind those electric sounds was Ben's voice, smooth, soulful, and perfectly human. As the 1980s rolled in, the Cars became unstoppable. Their hits, Let's Go, Shake It Up, and especially Drive, cemented their place in music history. Drive, sung by Orr, was their most emotional and haunting song, a ballad that felt like a confession whispered through static and neon light. It reached number 3 on the Billboard charts in 1984, and its music video, featuring model Paulina Porizkova, became an MTV staple. Ben's solo career also shined with the hit Stay the Night, proving that his magic wasn't confined to the Cars. His voice could move from powerful to tender in an instant, an artist who didn't just perform songs, but lived them. But behind the fame and flashing lights, Benjamin Orr was a man of mystery. He was private, almost guarded. While his bandmates courted the spotlight, Ben preferred silence. Friends often describe him as gentle, kind, and introspective, a man who spoke through his music rather than words. The Cars' success didn't come without challenges. As the years went on, creative tensions began to surface between members, especially between Ben and Ric Ocasek. Yet, even as the band drifted apart, their respect for each other never truly faded. Ben faced heartbreak, too, romantic ups and downs, the pressures of fame, and the quiet weight of being misunderstood. When the Cars disbanded in 1988, he didn't fade away. He simply took a step back, forming new bands, reconnecting with fans, and playing the music he loved in smaller, more intimate venues. It was never about the fame for Benjamin Orr. It was about the feeling, the same one he gave to millions through his songs. In the late 1990s, Ben's life took a tragic turn. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a silent disease that would claim his life just months later. Yet even as his health declined, his spirit never dimmed. He continued performing with his band, Big People, right up until the end. On October 3rd, 2000, Benjamin Orr passed away in Atlanta, Georgia, at just 53 years old. Friends say he faced his final days with courage and peace, surrounded by those he loved. Ric Ocasek called him the sweetest man I ever met, a sentiment shared by fans who still feel the warmth of his presence every time Drive plays on the radio. His final performance, just weeks before his passing, was filled with quiet grace, a man saying goodbye through music. Today, Benjamin Orr is remembered not just as the bassist of the Cars, but as the heart behind their sound. His voice, immortalized in songs like Drive and Just What I Needed, continues to echo through time, familiar, comforting, and eternal. In 2018, the Cars were finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a moment long overdue. Though Ben wasn't there in body, his spirit filled the room. As the surviving members took the stage, fans felt him there, smiling softly, bass in hand, forever part of the music that shaped generations. His story reminds us of something powerful, that sometimes the quietest souls leave the loudest echoes. Benjamin Orr never demanded attention. He earned it. Through his humility, his artistry, and his unmistakable voice, he became an icon whose legacy will never fade. Benjamin Orr's voice still drives us home, one song at a time. If his music touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to honor his memory. Because legends like Benjamin Orr may leave this world, but their songs will always play on.